Hello and welcome to another edition of Drive's Inside Line. This week's hot automotive topics include Hyundai's rapid ascent up the sales charts and BMW's unique lease plan for its future electric cars. But first, a story Ford Australia tried to sweep under the carpet this month. The company has axed the turbocharged version of the locally built Territory.
That's right, another fuel guzzler bites the dust. The Territory Turbo basically wasn't selling. It uses almost as much fuel as a V8. People weren't buying it, so Ford have decided not to do the emissions work required to bring it up to current standards. A diesel version of the Territory was in the works, but they decided to go with the turbo Territory, and obviously it hasn't really been a huge success for them.
And of course now it's getting caught by all the rivals and then overtaken by some, like the Holden Captiva. I think half of those models are diesel sales, and I think it's 80% for Prado, that's diesel.
That's right. I mean, diesel was the smart choice, and obviously, Ford are moving forward with a Territory next year, a diesel version of that.
Now, Hyundai's rival Santa Fe doesn't outsell the Territory, but that hasn't stopped the Korean car maker from threatening to overtake Ford for third spot in the local sales battle. They've already launched 3 new vehicles in 2010 to bolster their Australian showrooms. So, Richard, can Hyundai do it?
Well, if you look at the figures, they're closing the gap really fast. I mean, they're up 42% this year. Ford's only up 6%. They've had new models on the market, as you say. I just don't think that going forward that they are going to catch Ford, because the Getz, which is one of their biggest sellers, is actually going to go out of business next year. Yeah,
so they've just the i20 is the most recent arrival, but it's a bit more expensive than we thought it was going to be.
That's right, and I mean the question is it at the same level as the main rivals in that market? I mean, you've got a new Volkswagen Polo, which is a very accomplished car.
That's right. Mazda 2, Ford Fiesta, both really good cars.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, there has been a couple of issues, I think, sort of particularly in terms of steering and ride quality. There have been concerns with the latest Hyundais.
That's right. I mean, i30, which came out obviously a little while back, was a big step forward for the company. But since then, the cars that have followed haven't been as good as everyone thought they would be.
Yeah. Well, I hear there's a bit of a fix possibly in the plan for the i45, a bit of a change to...
That's right. They're looking at some local changes to suspension and steering to make it steer and handle a bit more like Australians expect.
Yep. Well, that would be beneficial. Last but not least, BMW says it is formulating a plan for its future electric car that it says will overcome the problem of the vehicle's limited driving range. Richard, what's the German car maker's great revelation?
Well, I mean, everybody who drives an electric car speaks about range anxiety. Are they going to make it to the next port of call? And obviously, when that comes to going on holidays, and Australians love to drive long distances on holidays, it becomes a huge issue. With a range of 150 kilometres, you're not going to get very far in Australia on that. So BMW's idea is to give people another car to drive when they've got to go further than 150 kilometres.
And which obviously wouldn't be an electric car.
No, obviously not. It's a petrol version. Maybe they take away an X5 or whatever on their holidays, and then they come back and drive the electric car.
Yeah.
So,
well, it certainly seems that the cost of these electric cars is not something that's going to sort of come down any time soon. So it looks like if you do want an electric car, you are going to have 2 cars in your garages.
Looks like that for the time being anyway.
OK, well, that's it from us this week. For more on BMW's electric car plans and the latest car news, you can, of course, log on to Drive.com.au.